Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Yes, tonight I'm Russ Riesinger. A federal court ruling in Great Falls will affect some of the work on the Keystone XL pipeline. U.S. District Judge Brian Morris ordered a more thorough study on the project's effects on endangered species. Q2's David J. joining us now from the newsroom with more on that ruling. David?
Well, Russ, the lawsuit names the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and TC Energy. The suit deals with where the pipeline would cross the Yellowstone and Cheyenne rivers. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers determined there would be no significant impact in its environmental assessment. However, the judge stated the Corps needed more input, which may lead to a more thorough study required for an environmental impact statement. The judge vacated the permit pending completion of consulting the experts and complying with environmental statutes and regulations. The Northern Plains Resource Council filed that lawsuit.
This particular lawsuit was about crossing of bodies of water and wetlands, but the analysis was not done on every crossing. So we're just very happy that the judge ruled the way he did, and it'll give us some time to look at the necessity of this operation and look at some other elements.
The company said a comment, the judge's ruling is disappointing in relation to Keystone XL, but the impacts of his ruling are far-reaching beyond our project. This decision hampers ability to build or maintain infrastructure projects in wetlands and water bodies across the U.S. The TC Energy spokesman also says the company will determine its next course of action and will continue with construction on the border at that crossing, which is not affected by today's ruling. Russ?
All right, thank you, David. Well, a group seeking to put marijuana legislation on Montana's November ballot is now suing the state. They contend they should be able to collect signatures electronically during the coronavirus emergency. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has more.
Leaders with New Approach Montana say with the state taking measures to slow the spread of COVID-19, now is not the right time to send volunteers out to gather signatures.
I mean, there's plenty of people out at the grocery store, and I'm sure that if you wanted to gather signatures there, you probably do a pretty good business. But we just don't think that's appropriate right now until things calm down.
Earlier this year, New Approach submitted a pair of measures aimed at legalizing marijuana in Montana. Initiative 190 would set up a recreational marijuana system with a 20% tax on sales. Constitutional Initiative 118 would allow the state to set the minimum buying age at 21. Both measures have cleared legal review, but in order to qualify for the ballot, I-190 must receive more than 25,000 signatures from registered Montana voters, and CI-118 must receive 50,000. New Approach filed a lawsuit in Lewis and Clark County, asking to temporarily suspend some state laws to allow them to collect electronic signatures. They're also asking that the deadline for collecting signatures be moved back from June 19th to August 3rd. Leaders say they have a contract with a company that can verify electronic signatures. They say the state already accepts those signatures in many other uses.
This isn't new. This isn't novel. This is tried, true, tested technology, and we're just asking that for this emergency, we're able to use that technology to protect, the lives and the well-being of Montanans, and also our democracy.
While the COVID response has created a new obstacle to qualifying a ballot initiative, New Approach leaders believe it might also create more interest in the millions of dollars of revenue they estimate legalized marijuana could raise for the state.
Looking at that, we definitely think that it's more of an incentive for Montana to look at the tax revenue now than it even was before.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
MT Cares, a group backing an initiative to require more renewable energy in the state, is also seeking changes in the signature gathering procedure. They're asking state officials to give them authority to count signatures collected by mail. Well, people all across the state woke up this morning to some extra cash directly into their bank accounts. The first stimulus payments go to anyone who's already filed their 2018 or 2019 tax returns and authorized the Internal Revenue Service to make a direct deposit if they were due a refund. Within that group, the agency started with the lowest incomes. Individuals who make less than $75,000 a year will get $1,200. Couples making less than $150,000 a year will get $2,400. Now, the IRS has also launched a new website to track the status of your stimulus checks. If you you won't get any money if your individual income is more than $99,000, or as a couple if you make more than $198,000 a year. There's also a fierce debate going on right now on how to help save the nation's businesses. Congress is already working on a second round of small business loans. The first round gave a lifeline to businesses hit by the pandemic, but that will run out soon. Now, Montana's senators differ on how successful that first shot has been, but both agree more help will be needed. Here's MTN's Dennis Bragg.
With checks and business loans starting to arrive from the multi-trillion-dollar CARES Act, Senators Steve Daines and John Tester are anxious to get that money into checking accounts. However, they view the success of that rollout differently.
Yeah, I think we're going to need more help and more assistance, but it's been tremendous to see the outpouring of support that we've already experienced with these small businesses across Montana. These small businesses had these gut-wrenching decisions. They literally just shutter their doors, lay off their employees, and working with these local banks who have rushed quickly to help these small businesses. It's a great story, providing help here one by one and getting these employees back on the payroll. There's been some great wins already.
What's kind of your impression on the rollout and trying to get some of this help for individuals anyway?
I don't want to be too harsh, but the truth is that we're in the middle of a pandemic here, that this money was put forth 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Time flies, but the fact of the matter is businesses can't survive on their good looks. They have to have money.
Tester says implementation of the program has been problematic, saying the Small Business Administration is very, very slow to get loan details to banks, which he says need time for their methodical process. Daines believes there are lessons to be learned that will improve arrival of the next measures.
So we'll take a first look at what worked and what didn't work in this $2.2 trillion package. So whatever did work, well, let's double down on that. If something didn't work, let's change it and make it better for the next round. Time is a ticking, and a lot of these businesses, they don't have time on their side. So we've got to get that money out. $2.2 trillion is a lot of money. And quite frankly, it was set to really help the hospitality business right out of the chute. And so to be still talking about this in the middle of April is not acceptable. Let's just put it that way.
Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
Well, reports today indicate the Payroll Protection Program has already paid out nearly $300 billion with 1.3 million loans. The Wall Street Journal reports the money was expected to run out today. Take a look at this. Thousands of cars and trucks clogging the streets of Michigan's capital in a drive-by demonstration dubbed Operation Gridlock. They're upset with the governor's stay-at-home mandates and want to be able to return to their businesses, which many fear will be lost. Michigan has one of the most extensive stay-at-home orders in the nation. Well, COVID-19 cases here in Montana continue to climb slowly, but also steadily. 5 more cases were reported today, bringing the state's total to 404 cases. All 5 spread out across the state from Flathead, Gallatin, Pend Oreille, Roosevelt, and Yellowstone counties. 209 people, about half of the total cases, are now considered recovered. 7 in Wyoming, COVID-19 has claimed another life. That victim reported in Laramie County brings the state total to 2 now. The total confirmed cases, 288, with most of those cases, a large percentage at least, about 25% of them in Laramie County with 64. Well, the concern is on the coronavirus. The flu also took a deadly toll in Montana this season. In the last report from 2 weeks ago, there had been more than 11,000 cases in Montana with nearly 500 hospitalizations and 16 deaths. Of course, the flu season has been going on for months and there is a vaccine. The worry with COVID-19 is that it's a new virus. There's no vaccine and health officials fear an outbreak would overwhelm hospitals. Well, emergency room doctors with the Billings Clinic and St. Vincent Healthcare want to make sure that people know that they are still open. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, Billings ER doctors say they've seen patients suffering heart attacks or strokes and have come in too late. The options for treatment shrink as time drags on. So if you're showing symptoms of a heart attack or a stroke, doctors want you to get the care you need. Now, doctors say that people with chronic conditions, usually managed at the hospital, should keep themselves healthy so they don't end up needing the emergency room. Well, there's also a service available to most at no cost, and it brings medical care right to your front door. Providers with hospice clinics are available to help with a wide range of care, from things as simple as filling pill bottles to providing end-of-life care. As Q2's Mitch Legge reports, hospice can also serve those suffering with COVID-19.
Compassus Hospice in Billings wants the community to know it's here to help. With visiting restrictions becoming more stringent at hospitals, families can be shut out from spending precious moments with loved ones. Hospice care can bring hospital services to your front door.
It's scary for everybody right now in the community to try to seek care in the hospital setting. And we just want people to understand that we're here for them to help them through things as simple as filling pill boxes on a routine basis to end-of-life care in the home.
With COVID-19, it's understandable if people are nervous about letting outsiders into their home. Compassus staff follow CDC guidelines for home healthcare workers. Every day, employees fill out a colleague questionnaire, which asks questions about past travel. Daily temperature readings are also taken as part of that.
And whether they're field staff or office staff or working from home, everybody is completing that form.
And proper sanitation and personal protective equipment are used before entering patient homes. People suffering from conditions like COPD, heart problems, diabetes, and other terminal illnesses could be helped by hospice care. And if enrolled in Medicare or Medicaid, there's no out-of-pocket costs for the patient.
So it's a benefit that they've already paid for. So, and there are a lot of private insurance companies as well that do have a hospice benefit as part of their coverage. Everything that we need to provide for the patient is a benefit that they've paid for forever since they've been working through Medicare and Medicaid.
Compassus is uniquely positioned to help if the healthcare system gets overwhelmed by COVID-19.
If someone comes in an acute state where they may be COVID positive, rather than admit them into the hospital can discharge them directly onto services with us, and we can help manage those patients at home, manage all their symptoms, and let them stay in their homes.
If Montanans keep their diligence with social distancing and sheltering in place, hopefully hospice won't see any COVID-19 patients. Reporting at home in Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. Pretty clear here right now, but Bob, kind of a different story for the surrounding area.
Yeah, still getting a little snow up in the Beartooth and the Bighorn Mountains. Let me show you the Doppler radar. You'll notice around the Billings area, most of that snow that we had around our area continues to push its way towards the south. It's kind of moving out of our area. And that stuff up there in the mountains, that's starting to dwindle too. We got a couple of new batches of snow up by Great Falls. That'll continue to push its way down towards southern Montana, but I just don't see that stuff coming into the Billings area. So here's what we have tonight on our watch and warnings. The big threat board has actually shrunk quite a bit in size. All we have left until midnight is a winter weather advisory and a winter storm warning. The advisories for about 1 to 2 inches of snow in the foothills of the Crazy Mountains. The Beartooth could see maybe another 3 to 5 inches of snow up there, and the Bighorns could see maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow in those areas. So looks like things are in the process of kind of winding down, and then the good stuff starts moving in. We'll have more about that coming up in a few more minutes. Russ?
All right, thank you, Bob. Students heading to MSU Billings in the future will now have even fewer options to major in, but university officials say it will ultimately benefit the school. After its first cut of 37 programs last spring, today the school announced the elimination of another 82 programs. 2 years ago, the Strategic Programs Alignment Initiative started with 254 programs and now has it down to 135. Students currently in programs that are being phased out will be able to first complete their degrees. Officials say the plan is to eventually add new programs for areas of study that may be more relevant for today's workforce demands.
Ultimately, what we're trying to do is position MSU Billings to be nimble and to meet student demand, workforce need. Particularly in post-COVID, we see lots of opportunities to be able to help our students. And so if we can slim down our array, one of the things that we hope to do beginning next year is actually start adding programs. Now, we'll never add as many as we took away, certainly, but it allows us to very strategically look at what we need, what we think our students want, what the community needs, what the workforce is asking of us, and to create programs that allow us to provide those opportunities.
Arnold says that no instructors will lose their jobs as a result of the new program alignment. Well, still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, Montana ranchers are gearing up for a busy spring season. And while that hasn't changed, the way they're getting that work done has. We'll explain. And in sports, Scott will dust off the collectibles and relive some of his favorite sports memories.
And Russ Riesinger, Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire, and sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.